before God, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free mind before sons, so we can rule our purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We want to know who owns the land. Ambazonia wants to know who owns the land. The Chinese rule Chinese land. The Americans rule America. The Europeans rule Europe. Ambazonia wants to rule Ambazonia. And of course, Africa wants to rule Africa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very important broadcast today. I look forward to sharing some insights into the Ambazonian presidential elections coming up in the matter of, I think, a month or two. A month or two, we will make that precise here tonight. We'd like to formally educate you as to what that means, what it is all about, and why there should be any election at all just a few months after we got in a new president. So please warm your seats and remain steadfast out there as I unpackage that piece of information to you. I'd like to welcome all of you who are tuning in from Africa, all of continental Africa. Those of you tuning in from Europe, including the United Kingdom, thank you for tuning in. If you are joining from Canada, the United States of America, South America, the Middle East, thank you, of course, for tuning in. It's a pleasure to come back to be with you. Sometimes situations just do not allow us to be here on a very regular basis. But when that does happen, I'd just like you to know that we are not off the seat. We'll not be off the seat. It is a struggle. That is what it is called. We're not going anywhere until that struggle is said and done. So please, thank you for your patience and thank you for keep on believing in what we are able to do here. As usual, I have not seen the numbers jumping. I like to see the numbers jumping. So go ahead. For those of you just joining, please go ahead. I want to see 700 numbers here on the screen before I bring you this very important presentation. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I will do some updates here in the house, do some laundry list of events that need to be taken care of, and then I will bring to you the election subject, read the election modalities as prepared by the Restoration Council, not really by the Restoration Council I should say, but sanctioned by the Restoration Council. I will be reading that entire statement so that all of you out there understand, who cannot lay hold on the document. If you are on ground zero in particular, you should understand what is being done. So I will take time to read through that entire document, and then after that I will bring in the chairman of that commission that set up the modalities for the election, talking about Dr. Apa Anthony, and also the spokesperson for the Restoration Council. They will both be here to take the questions and bring the answers. And as usual, I will open the phone lines. If you have questions to ask them, that will be your choice. So please go ahead, hit your share button. Hit your share button. It's a pleasure to be back with you this gracious day. I like to see what those of you out there, and let me know if you are watching this by Roku. If by any means you're watching by Roku, let me know. Or if you have also gotten ABS on Roku in your home, I like to know. I see lots of downloads, lots of ABS downloads on Roku. We really like to see everybody download Roku. It is very, very important to us economically, ladies and gentlemen. So, but it is also important to you, because then you don't have to come on Facebook and watch ABS. You can just turn it on your television set if you are in the diaspora and watch ABS. That is why it is important you download it. I don't know whether Roku functions on the mobile gadgets, but of course I'm referring to Roku on your television set. Roku on your television set. Go ahead and install ABS. I will come to give you a lot of details about how you can install it at home. But if you are already installed and you can watch ABS 24/7, let me know, please. Drop me a message on the comment section there. Let me know that you are receiving ABS at home. Okay, let me see what those of you out there are saying. I'm doing this so that if you are joining, please hit the share button. In the next 4 minutes, let's see 700 people on the screen, and I come to you proper. So please, if you are joining, go ahead, hit your share button. Hit your share button if you are just joining, okay? So let me see who is joining and what you are saying. Please, again, go ahead, hit your share button. Hit your share button as you join. The moment I see 700 on my screen, I will start this broadcast proper. All right, I see Exodus Tegan. Good, God bless Ambazonia having ABS. Mark Power, it's been what? It's been a while, sir. Yes, sir, unfortunately. We couldn't control it. ANC man, good. Is it ANC or Anu or well, I don't know. Good evening. We are bleeding La Republic. We are bleeding La Republic to Cameroon. That is a message, sir. That is a message. Destiny, new country. Some people are watching on TV. All right, wonderful. I'd like to know who exactly is watching. Oh, I hope you don't mean to say some people are watching on TV, so the numbers will not be the same on the social media. I don't believe that. I mean, there are times we have up to 1,000. I mean, we've had up to I think the highest we ever had, even from the days of ABC, were 5,004 when I brought on John Frundi, and then 2,000 something, 1,006, and so on and so forth. Hey, nobody has gone anywhere. They are all still out there. I want to see 700. Hit your share button as you join. All right. Comrade Titianjo Jr. Welcome, Secretary Chris. A little jaw-breaking name there, but I got it. You've been missed. Good having you, Anchorman. Thank you, ma'am or sir. Formoso Augustine Brown. God be with us, he says. Absolutely, sir. Blaise Tanya. Bayi Stanley. I see you. Gina Boy Tamo watching on Roku TV in Bronx, New York. Wonderful, wonderful, awesome, great to hear that. Please, again, I expect you as you join, go ahead, hit that share number. Let everybody out there know the anchor man is still alive. He is not live, not just live, alive. Okay, all right. For child, Asunganye, welcome, Anchorman. Thank you, sir. Romano Sakonji, I see you. Edward Billy Blank. Greetings, Anchorman. I have shared already to all my groups. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Billy Blank. All right, who else? Christian Kumbo. He's the first here all the time. Amber Turker. The Bitcoin cabal are ashamed of the success of this interim government. They ought to be. Of course, they ought to be. They ought to be. Andre Nem. Secretary Chris, please safeguard our revolution by becoming a revolutionalist. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you understand to be a revolutionary, but of course I have been 24/7, close to 5 years. Not just in 5 years. I didn't come into this 5 years or 6 years ago. I came into this in I would say since 1994 when I went on exile. They drove me for exile from La Republic to Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're talking about revolutionaries, I don't know if you want some of us to, I don't know, but all right, Fongo Julius, Chris, we can get you in Bamenda. Wonderful. I know you always get me on satellite. Absolutely. Okay. Bama John, say, watching from Gata. And who else? Powerful, says the anchor man. Exodus, Tengan, we are going to Boya, God being our helper. Yes, sir, that is our destination, our ultimate destination. Bertrand Ayub, watching from UAE, Thomas Mbamgong, greetings, anchorman. Secretary Chris, I love your love signs there, ladies and gentlemen, and the like signs too, of course. But I want to see the numbers are not jumping to my liking. We've not hit even 300 yet. Please, I know we are close to 3, but not good enough. Please, if you are just joining, again, I like to see 700 figures here on Facebook before I come to you proper. God bless you, Anchorman. Ambazonians love you. This is John Wu. Thank you, sir. And Dora, always here. Welcome back, our able Anchorman. Thank you, sir. Powerful says you are giving nightmare to Bitcoiners. Well, I'm not giving them nightmare. They ask for nightmares and they will get it. You ask for it, you will get it. Groundworks Action, that is his name. It's great to have you, sir, watching from the Emirates. Tell the last man standing. Okay, no, remember Sako is the last man standing, right? Sako said he was the last man standing. I don't know what has happened to him now. I don't know whether he is still actually standing. All right. Elvis Mbangwe, good job, the real man. Match fire. Okay. Ambazonia Israel say watching from Amba Capital. That is watching from Boya. Wonderful. Wonderful. Please, I'm asking you to hit your share button. Let's get these numbers jumping before I come to you proper with the presentation. Thierry Achaleka, watching. I see also Exodus Tegen. I think I mentioned you before. Your presence have made Bitcoiners to be panicked, sir. Okay, I see you. Bling Jota, watching from colonial capital in Yaoundé. Papulo, Bado, Gento, nobody was will stop Ambazonia from reaching Boya. Yes, sir. Joe, Wofa, great job, the anchor man. Patricia Osiku, watching from Windhoek. Windhoek is in where? What? Namibia, I think so, right? I think Windhoek is in Namibia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, we still haven't hit 300 yet. I like to see those numbers just jumping and jumping. Oh, it just jumped over 300 now. Please, again, if you are just joining, hit your share button so that I have been told some people are watching those with data, especially on Ground Zero. Data on their phone. They buy data just to watch this show when I come on, and I don't want them to run out of that data. So please hit that share button. I want to talk to everybody. All right. David Kangim, sir, I see you. Frank, great to see you today. Our able Secretary of State watching from UAE, United Arab Emirates. Okay. And see also Amba People Power. Welcome, man. Nelson Cho watching from Fako. No turning back. Okay. I hope you guys get Moja down. I mean down as in down. All right. Andre Neyman, I mentioned Secretary Chris, then distinguish yourself from other revolutionaries. This is again, Andre, you're speaking in parables, so you're not making sense. All right. So make it in a way that people understand. Ikombe Mbonji, Mama Vicky, where have you been, ma'am? Long time. watching from Germany. Okay. Ojong Kabum, Michelle, was it Michael from Cyprus? Ginebo, I mentioned this before. Aga Austin, watching you, the man of the revolution. Okay, so Fulham Fritz, I see the unbearable lion. Okay. Langang Donabel, watching from colonial capital Yaoundé. Frederick Cho, I see you, sir. I see also Simon Ng. I see Bole T, who is always, no, Bole Tole T. That is his name, always here. Okay. Hannah Wine, I see you. God bless you, the Angle Man. Thank you, ma'am. La Vista Savon, I also see you. Sibia Indam. Greetings, Secretary Chris, she writes. Okay. Groundworks Action, I think I mentioned you before. Hello, Secretary Chris, I like the way you call that name. Which one is that? Which name is that? All right. Charles Julius Chama, no pity, will be our new leader in Ground Zero unto Freedom. Lazy diaspora, well, that is your opinion, sir, and you are very much entitled to it, and nobody can indict you for that opinion. Okay. Power must change hands. Great, sir. Let our people in the so-called Republic begin to come back home. The days ahead are pregnant. You got it right, sir. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't read every name here. You all know that, unfortunately. But I like to, again, the numbers are not doing good to my liking. Go ahead, and I see the numbers are instead dropping. I don't know what is going on. What is going on. But let me start this presentation with some house cleaning here, ladies and gentlemen. I start this with some house cleaning here, and I like to remind all of you. I like to remind all of you out there that the 40 Oku Ambazonians who were abducted, I think is going to 3 months now. They are still missing. La République du Cameroon is still keeping all of them, and I mean the 40 of them. Some people have said there were over 40. I am not so sure whether they were over 40, but all of them, ladies and gentlemen, all of them are still missing. None of them has been released or found anywhere. And we will keep on reminding the authorities in La République du Cameroon until all the 40 are accounted for. If they are dead or killed, we just want to know that they were killed and the families can have a closure, ladies and gentlemen. But if they are alive and in some dungeons somewhere, we also need to know, the families need to know. And if they are in any dungeons, we demand that their families and their lawyers have access to them. Again, we demand that their families and their lawyers, they have access to them. That is all that we are demanding from the officials in La République du Cameroon. If La République du Cameroon is a country that wants the world to know they respect human rights, you don't pick up innocent, unarmed civilians and kill them or put them in dungeons, incommunicado, and not even family members or lawyers know about their whereabouts. So we are asking La République du Cameroon officials to, at least as a country that respects human rights, to disclose to the families of these 40 Oku boys their whereabouts. If they are locked up, their families should have access to them, and their lawyers too should have access to them. If they are dead, at least the families deserve a closure. They need to know that their brothers, their sisters, their parents, they are dead. And again, it is important you are reminded these were mere bike riders. I learned some of them rode from as far as Douala to Oku to participate in the funeral of one of theirs. And after the funeral, returning to Douala and other destinations, they were captured by La République du Cameroon. And La République du Cameroon wants the people to believe, they want everybody to believe these guys, ladies and gentlemen, were Amba boys. How can you even fathom that? How can Amba boys travel, ladies and gentlemen? 40 of them in number, and none of them is carrying a gun, and they are rounded up, put in jail and detention centers, and they want anybody to believe that these were armed fighters. We need that evidence. We need that proof. And that is why we are not laying down this case until La République du Cameroon accounts for these 40 innocent civilians. And I'm asking, where are those Cameroon women who know how to march naked, demanding for peace? When your children are picked up, it is going to 3 months, we don't find you on the streets. Where is Agobala and the human rights group? Where is Amnesty International? Where is Human Rights Watch? That for over 3 months, 40 people are rounded up. They were not carrying any guns or any machine guns or weapons. And nobody knows their whereabouts. In a country that wants us to believe they respect human rights, they respect international treaties on human rights, we need to know their whereabouts. I challenge Dion Ngute. If you run a country that respects human rights, we need to know the whereabouts of these 40 innocent children. We need to know their whereabouts. Their children, their fathers deserve to know. Some of them have wives and children. They deserve to know where they are. If they are dead, they deserve to be informed. Again, we're not laying down this case until we know the whereabouts of these 40. And I challenge Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and the embassies in Yaoundé furnishing the international community with reports about abuses on the ground. It is not enough for you to say Ambazonians are killing, they are doing that. What do you expect them to do when their people are rounded up and put in jail, in detention for 4 months? Nobody knows where they are. All right. So again, we will come back to that case, ladies and gentlemen. My voice just rises like that. I don't do it that way. I mean, it just happens, ladies and gentlemen. I don't do so. When I am touched, it happens that way. I don't just sit here talking something, trying to please somebody. I talk it because it comes from the heart. It comes from the heart. This will not happen in any country that 40 people are rounded up. And 4 months after, nobody is saying a thing about them. Nobody is saying a thing about them. And the thing we ought to forget about it, we can't forget about it. We will keep on reminding them. And every Ambazonian should do the same. It could be your brother. It could be your father. It could be your uncle. We cannot lay down our guards on this. La République cannot continue to do this. Pick up our people randomly, put them in jail, kill some, and we just sit here saying because it is war. I challenge all the human rights group Agobala out there in Boya saying he is fighting for his country. Please, brother, help us find out. Tell us where these 40 Oku boys are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I take you to this other subject. I just like to remind all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that ABS is on Roku app. I really would love to see every one of you have ABS running on your television set. Now I'm speaking to those in the diaspora. For those in Africa, you can watch with satellite. You cannot watch it on Roku because you don't have enough internet in your homes to run anything video. But all over Europe, all over the USA, South America, I believe, Canada, you can now watch ABS on Roku. You can now watch ABS on Roku. And this is what you do. You find the Roku screen right there in front of you. You see Netflix, you see Disney Channel, you see Prime Video, Roku, Tubi, Plex, Global, and so on. You see CBS. Now, those are the different channels that you will find on Roku. Now, when you get on Roku looking for ABS, what you need to do, you look at the left column where it says, is that movies and TV? Yeah, I think it says movies and TV. All you need to do is scroll down that column until you see where it says, you see the tab that says streaming channels. You click on that, scroll down and click on search. When you click on search, you will type in full Africa Broadcasting Service. Again, Africa Broadcasting Service, and it will immediately pop up. When you will follow the prompts to now install it on your app. After you finish installing it, ABS logo will be appearing on your screen, just as Netflix, Disney, Prime Video, Tubi, Roku. Now, don't go hit on what you see there, Roku channel. No, if you hit on Roku channel, the Roku channel you see there is just a TV channel, just like this one. So if you're looking for ABS, you don't want to click on that. So when you install ABS logo will be showing on your home page, just like these other icons or logos like Netflix, Disney, Prime Video, Plex, and so on. That's what will happen once you download and install it on your TV. And we really are asking all of you, please, in the diaspora, go ahead, download ABS on Roku, and you can watch it 24/7. After we finish broadcasting live as I do here, ABS will still be running. We're actually running documentaries, international news, African events, and African futures. Anything that you can imagine, educative documentaries and international news. Still on 24/7 after this. That's what those on satellite, they're watching. Whatever you watch on Roku is the same thing that those on satellite are watching, ladies and gentlemen. Now I take you to something else. And it has to do with Martin Mungwa vilifying FM no PT. Martin Mungwa, the Bitcoiner in chief, vilifying FM no PT. I'm sure many of you out there, you have listened to the audio message coming from this gentleman you find with me on the screen. That is, he is called Martin Mungwa, usurping himself as one communication secretary. But Martin Mungwa comes from Ingol, Ketunjia. He is from that local government. And for the years, when everything was okay, they had a good handle and control over the fighters in Ingol, Ketunjia. But the moment they lost control of the fighters in Ingol, Ketunjia, precisely no PT, FM no PT, they changed the language. And the language is that of death. The language is that of sabotage. The language is that of blackmail. The language is that of vilification, ladies and gentlemen. And again, that language is coming from this gentleman you'll find on your screen, the guy passing for one communications secretary. I listened to him in an audio you put out. I don't know whether it was yesterday or today. He was essentially saying that no PT should be is not fighting for Ambazonia. He said the idea of Bui warriors is satanic, is devilish. It is not serving Ambazonia. It is serving La République du Cameroon. And he doesn't understand why they will carry a coffin of a dead La République du Cameroon soldier to Kumbo Square, where they made a spectacle of it. And other than that, no PT wanted civilians and shops burnt down by La République du Cameroon. That is the man, Martin Mongwa, one communication secretary wannabe. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said it here. I think all of you know my stance on this unity on the ground. I am a proponent, a strong proponent of unity, but in a very cautious, very cautious manner. We're not going to jump into any form of unity anywhere, not on ground zero, not in the diaspora. But where it is working, ladies and gentlemen, but where it is working, as in the case of the warriors in Bui, why vilify them? Why vilify them? Until they do something wrong, until they prove that they are no longer fighting for Ambazonia, then would I have an issue. But to step out and vilify them just because you lost control over them, it's a big problem to me. It's a big problem to me. Gone are the days when the diaspora tried to control every fighter on the ground. Fellow Ambazonians, listen to the sound of my voice. Those fighters, and I can say this because I have a brother who is fighting too, who sleeps under trees like every other fighter on the ground. And if you sit in the diaspora and you think that you can dictate what they do, sleeping in the bushes under the rain, this is the rainy season. You are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. The diaspora must give them some leeway to decide certain things, their modus operandi on the ground. If they think that they are safe to walk with their brothers or their friends from other counties, from the same county, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot vote their security on the ground. Nobody in the diaspora can vote their security on the ground. If they can vote their own security and let us know that they are certain of what they see, of what they have, who are you to say, oh, they come together, they are united, and now they are serving La République du Cameroon? Come on, for real? So I like my friend Martin Mongwa to know, sir, you are off target, very much off target, very much off target. When the No PT launched, ladies and gentlemen, the Unity Warriors, I was very skeptical, and I think some of you who listen to me and are close to me, you know that I was cautious. And it's the right thing to do when new things begin to pop up. I was cautious about it. But when you have someone who claims to be in a leadership position coming to let all of us know that it is now wrong because he lost control over them, we will not buy that. We will not take that. So far, No PT has done a great job with his alliance. And again, in other counties, if others see that they want to do it, if it is good for them, I will support it. I will support it until I see reasons not to support it. So, Comrade Mungwas, you choose the wrong fight there. You choose the wrong fight there. And I am not talking about ground zero leadership that I hear some people talk about. That one, I still need to wrap my head around it. I am not so sure what even to say about that. But if you ask me now, I will say I don't think this is the moment. That moment will definitely come, because at the end of the day, everything ends on ground zero. At the end of the day, everything ends on ground zero. Just want all of you to know that. So please, all of you out there, keep the naysayers aside. Keep the naysayers aside, and support the warriors. Support No PT and the warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, support them. They are doing an indelible job on the ground, and all that we owe them is that support. It is critical. Now, I hope you got that. Now, I'll take you to another subject here, talking about a subject that I brought to you the other day, about land grab, ladies and gentlemen. In all of Ambazonia, not just Faco, but all of Ambazonia, Somebody sent me some, I thought, very revealing, exclusive information from ground zero. And this piece of information explains how the chiefs, particularly in Faco, get land. And it will surprise you that there's a big racket on the ground in Faco, led by Bernard Okalia, to the SDOs, so-called SDOs, to the provincial inspector, land inspector or something like that, to the mayors. It's a big racket. I want to explain to you, I want to read to you what this comrade sent to me from ground zero. He has been very much within the network. He understands what has been going on, how land changes hands from our chiefs, not to Ambazonians or Backwarians, but to Francophones, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what he wrote. Let me read that here and explain that to you. He wrote this: the scheme operators are mainly Bamilekis. The scheme operators are mainly Bamilekis. They are called the sponsors. They sponsor land assignment to the chiefs. They target a chief and encourage the chief to apply for land return. They target a chief and they corner the chief to get to the government and apply for land return for his village. And they will essentially educate the chief on the message to take to the government to acquire the land. And the message will be that the village is outgrowing its population, or has outgrown its population, and so the village needs much more land space. That will be the application content. The village growth can survive with the current pace or space, which of course is never true. Now, the sponsors or the agents talking to the chiefs, he says they, not the chiefs, are well informed of the modalities of the operation, because they are the sponsors. They know the in and out of how the chiefs can take back the land. The chiefs do not know. They are the only one. These sponsors, these land public agents, the Bamilekis, They are the ones who know the secret. They know the doors to knock, the doors of their brothers. Now listen to this. It says, they know the modalities and the operation. They actually do all the initial paperwork, and the chiefs only just come in and sign. The agents, the Bamilekis, they do all the paperwork, just carry it to the chiefs and say, hey, endorse it, and the chiefs will sign. At this first phase, the compilation of the documents and the signing by the chiefs, he says, they strike an agreement with the chief on how the outcome will be shared, and it's fairly constant. They will struck a deal with the chiefs on how the outcome, when finally the land is allocated, how it is going to be shared. Now listen to this. It says 48%, 48% normally goes to these sponsors. 48%, a whopping 48%, ladies and gentlemen, normally goes to the sponsors. And 52% for the chiefs and the village. Now listen to this. When the initial paperwork has been done or completed, the sponsors now take the papers to the local officials. Now guess who the local officials are? They are the DOs, they are the land and survey guys, they are the governor. At this level, the sponsors give a small cash motivation. They give a small cash motivation, ladies and gentlemen. And it's at this level too, that the amount of land to be allotted free to these actors after the approval is agreed. The sponsor then takes the papers to Yaoundé for approval. In Yaoundé, the actors there mainly go for cash inducement or incentives, which the sponsors pay. The sponsors, in most cases, are directly dealing in Yaoundé with people from their home areas, and so the process is greatly facilitated. If you're a Yaoundé man, you go to Yaoundé, you meet somebody from Yaoundé, he signs the papers, pays money, Bamileki, they do the same. All done and achieved. The survey men, so-called land and survey, they come in and demarcate the given area carefully. First of all, carving out the areas for the governor. I hope you're getting that. That's what is going on in our territory, on ground zero, in Fako in particular. So once all the paperwork and the payments are made and the piece of land allocated, the very first thing that is done, once the piece of land is demarcated, first the governor's own piece is cut out. That is who? Bernard Okalia. His piece is first of all cut out. Now listen to this. The remaining area is then shared out between chief and sponsor. That is, the chiefs get 52% and the sponsor gets 48% as arranged. In most cases, the sponsor arranges buyers. Can you imagine? The sponsor arranges buyers to still go and buy the portion belonging to the chief and the village. How somebody is getting this? So after he takes his own 48% portion, he still gets to the chief and retain the right to market the rest of what is left on behalf of the chief. Now listen to this. In most cases, the sponsor arranges buyers for the chief's area, ensuring that the land mostly goes to francophones. That is the secret. That is the secret. That is what happened in my 16. Is it, what was the name of the place? Near, around my 16, a week ago. That people, they had bought land, and people who show up to claim the land, were Francophones. Now listen to this. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Oh, I lost something here. Do I? Okay, listen to this. In most cases, the sponsor arranges buyers for the chief's area, ensuring that the land mostly goes to Francophones. The governor and others also have their own handlers who take care of the marketing of their allocations. I have tried to be as brief as possible. That is my informant. That is what is going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is how the land in Ambazonia is slowly but surely being handed over to Francophones. But I have said that nobody should be worried. When this fight is over, we will get back, take back what belongs to us, and we will go back to at least 30 years. 30 years to claim, ladies and gentlemen, what rightly belongs to us. Thank God there is something like eminent domain. Eminent domain. With eminent domain, you just walk in there and use your power as the government to say, hey, the government can take this piece of land and develop the community. The day is coming. Francophones taking our land, scrambling our land, we'll get it. Please don't touch your remote. I'm coming back now to get into the elections subject when I come back. Thank you.
Would you like to make a six-figure income? Well, you have come to the right place. At Venbati LLC, we can make your dream come true by training you to become a professional Scrum Master in just 6 short weeks. You heard me right, just 6 weeks. This may be the biggest life-changing decisions you will ever make. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. If you were walking down the street and opportunity walked past you, would you recognize it? Well, here is an opportunity you won't want to miss. At Venbati LLC, our world-class trainers would prepare you for one of the best career changes you will ever make. And then you can consider yourself lucky when you make that 6-figure income and laugh your way to the bank. If you are that person who can recognize an opportunity, call us at 240-701-7796. Check out our website, www.venbati.com. We have limited spaces. First come, first serve. Come one, come all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there. And now we go to the subject of the day, picking the next Ambazonia president. Picking the next Ambazonian president. Now, please do not be misled with the word picking. In every election, the people pick their leaders. That's exactly what that means. Ambazonians picking by election their own president. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are all aware that it's only about 4 months ago that Iya Marienta became the president for the Federal Republic of Ambazonia through this interim government. And some of you out there will be wondering, elections again just in 4 months' time? Of course, yes, because it is necessary that we all know this, because I see lots and lots of ignorance out there. The process, we are still in the process of getting a leader for Ambazonia as far as the interim government is concerned. What we did 4 months ago was called a transitional period. It was called a transitional period. The process was never completed with the nomination of Iya Marienta. It was only part of the process. Now, you will recall that after the impeachment and removal of Samuel Ekome Sako, the idea put forth by the Restoration Council was to go in for a 4 months transitional period. Dr. Manuel Tita was brought in. He lasted only for a day and chickened out. When he chickened out, per the Constitution, Iya Marianta, who was supposed to be his assistant, was supposed to take over. Remember, if Emmanuel Tita had stayed, it was going to be a 4-month transition. So, the moment he left, a vacuum was created, and per the Constitution, his assistant automatically becomes the president and picks her vice. And that's exactly what happened 4 months ago when again Emmanuel Tita chickened out. The process was not concluded because even if Emmanuel Tita had stayed, we would have had elections. We should be having elections by today, by now, or maybe a month ago. You're right, maybe a month ago. But he did not stay. So it was a transition. And when Iya Marianta took over, the Restoration Council felt that 4 months are too short to come out with modalities of the election and also conduct the election, especially when there was really no provision available in the Constitution for election, which is the point that Sako was making. Not to say that Sako was right. Sako was just trying to be crafty, because that same Constitution voted for him twice without him asking, show me where elections are in the Constitution. He just didn't want to run elections. He thought he was an emperor. He was seeing himself seated in Boya. And that is one big problem that I keep on warning about the interim government. The interim government is not going to Boya to be a government. I don't care what you say about it. Ambazonians will form a transitional government, and that is the reason why we all must be thinking of working together now. It is critical. So nobody should come in power and say, you know what, and try to measure his pace. We're not in Boya yet. No sound-minded organization, institution will say, interim government, go to Boya and become and take over and run the country. Please do not be mistaken. Do not be mistaken. That is not going to happen. When we sit down at that negotiation table, every other Ambazonian group will sit on that table, and if anything, they will say, please, we want all of you to form a coalition government. All the groups, you form a coalition government. Go and run your country for 4 or 5 or 3 years. Put a constitution together, legalize political parties within that period, and create an electoral commission, electoral modalities. Do all of that. After you do all of that, in 3 years, 4 or 5 years, you call for elections, and individuals can now realign, contest for that election. This mentality that some group is going to become the government in Boya, forget about it. That is taking us many steps behind. It is taking us many steps behind, because the moment people get in power, they see themselves as they are already sitting in Boya. So the process was not completed. The process wasn't completed, and Iya Marianta took over as president and was given 6 months. Within the 6 months, the Restoration Council would put together a committee or a commission that would draw the election modalities. The commission will decide who can vote, who cannot vote, who will moderate the elections, and so on and so forth. I'm going to bring them to you. I will read them out to you very slowly, and before I bring in the commission leadership to answer some questions. So the Restoration Council said, let's give Iya Marianta 6 months. within the 6 months, they will appoint this commission that will draw the modalities. For a full disclosure, I was actually a member of that committee. Members were picked from every segment of the government, be it from the Restoration Council, from the Executive, from the Judiciary Council, from the Cabinet, from the counties, and so on. Members were all picked up from there. Unfortunately, I was there, but I never really contributed. I never had any time to be in any meeting. And I'm just giving that full disclosure here. I was supposed to be part of it. I just never had the time to be there. But I have found time to read through what they wrote. And again, I'm coming to that, but they were it's not my place to explain. It's my place to inform you. It is their place to explain to you what that means. So, the commission has finished its job. The commission has finished its job. They have put out the modalities of that election. Now, I've heard some people say that, oh, why don't we just continue like this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say this. This is my opinion. It's not anybody's opinion. It is my own opinion. You don't know the difference between two things until you really know how they both can operate. We have a problem in this IG and this struggle as a whole, the problem of surrogacy. There were people who thought Sako was Lord. You can't touch him. You can't remove him. You just have to let him. He is doing a great job. Until a few months ago, Iya Marianta came up. You see the difference. You wouldn't have known that somebody could do a better job until Iya Marianta showed up. So please, the idea that we just continue, that is not what if we start a process, we have to finish that process. And I believe that after this election is complete, the stability that we expect, not just in the interim government, but in the struggle, will even more solidify. Because when you give a leader 3 years, if you can't do something tangible, visible within those 3 years, make way. Don't change the constitution. Don't form your own so-called Jua what? Don't do that. Don't do that. One thing that troubles me is that we come to the country, we come to Europe, we come to the USA, we admire the system, we admire their politics, but we just want to remain Africans. We just want to remain Africans. What are we learning in the diaspora, ladies and gentlemen? What are we learning? It's shameful and pitiful that will come to places where we can learn, fix our own country, and we just remain so static. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I won't go any further. I will bring to you now the election modalities as written and endorsed, signed, or ratified by the Restoration Council. Now, the Restoration Council is not calling these laws. They are calling it modalities. Modalities. And so I am going to read to you those modalities. And after I finish reading the modalities, I will bring in the Honorable Anthony Epa and the Honorable Reverend Ingini, who are representing that commission and the Restoration Council, to take question not just from me, but from you too. Now it's time. This is law number blah, blah, blah. I won't read that. Modalities for the Ambazonian presidential elections. Intro or introduction. There is the need to hold elections, even during our revolution, as a way of evaluating the performances of our revolutionary leaders. The writers of our Constitution did not include, and I quote, election in it, absence of which can breed dictatorship. The Ambazonian people would like to continue the practice of democracy, which was subscribed since 1953 during war or peacetime. The importance of elections, especially at the presidential level, is to give both legitimacy, consent, and legality, which is authority, to the leadership of our country, which is under occupation. Again, remember, ladies and gentlemen, none of these are my words. I'm just reading. Elections make a fundamental contribution to democratic governance. They enable voters to select leaders and to hold them accountable for their performance in office. The possibility of controlling leaders by requiring them to submit to regular and periodic elections helps to resolve the problem of succession in leadership and thus contributes to the continuity in democracy and governance. Moreover, when the electoral process is competitive and forces candidates to expose their records and future intentions to popular scrutiny, it serves as a forum for the discussion of public opinion. Elections thus provide political education for citizens and ensure the responsiveness of democratic governments to the will of the people. The overwhelming majority of Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians have demanded election modalities to govern the conduct of elections to the presidency of the country. It continues, this law or election modalities is therefore intended to provide a level playing field where Ambazonians aspiring to presidential leadership of our struggle can exercise their civic rights in a free and fair election. Now, Section 1, goals of the modalities. Goals of the modalities. These election modalities, which shall be subject to revision and or amendment from time to time, are established by the Restoration Council, pursuant to Article 5.1 of the Terms of Reference, granting it powers to make laws ad interim for the future and for the future. In the event of any conflict between these modalities and the Constitution, after the Constitution is revised, the provisions of the Constitution shall prevail. Now, the goals of these modalities include, number 1, to promote voter education. Voters will know who is running for the office of the president and will be given the opportunity to ask the candidates questions in person, online, by mail, or by phone. Number 2, the goals are to guide the Ambazonian Election Commission, AEC, presidential candidates, and the Ambazonian electorate at every step of the way, from voter registration, declaration of candidates, campaigns, voting proper, and to the publication of results. It is aimed to promote more competition, fairness, improvements, and transparency in our election process. Again, number 4, it is aimed to increase participation in policy making and universal suffrage for adults. 5, it is aimed to assess and to test policy options and implementation approaches. Number 6, it is aimed to identify and manage significant risk to to successful delivery of the elections. Number 7, it is aimed to provide a voting environment that is impartial, accessible, and user-friendly. Number 8, it is aimed to serve as a standard of operation. This means that anyone with intention to run for the presidency will be aware of the requirements and agree to adhere to them. It is also aimed at informing, or it is also aimed to inform, research, encourage analysis, and reporting on the polls and the results of the elections. Section number 2, conditions for eligibility. In other words, what the qualifications are for anyone to qualify to run for this presidential election. Presidential candidacy and legitimacy. Candidates to the presidency of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia must establish the following. They must establish the following. Number 1, their nationality. They must be indigenous of Ambazonia whose grandparents can be traced to the past 4 generations or 200 years as specified in the Ambazonian Code of Nationality. Number 2, to run for an election or to qualify to be a presidential candidate, you must be between the ages of 35 and 70 years old. And number 3, the candidate must commit to the struggle. He must be an active participant in an LGA supporting the struggle. Show at least, they say, 3 years of commitment to the independence of Ambazonia and recognize the interim government of Ambazonia. Number 4, anybody running to be president, it says professional, moral, and social status. He must have a reliable source of income and good standing in the community. Number 5, he must have at least an advanced level general certificate of education, GCE, in at least 2 subjects excluding religion, or besides the advanced level and associate degree. Number 6, anybody running for president may also have skills and experience in managing organizations or other institutions. Now, other conditions include 7. He must pay a non-refundable registration fee of $2,000. Pay a non-refundable fee of $2,000. They are not cheap, right? Guess they are not cheap. All right. Number 8, you must sign a memorandum of understanding that includes 1, 3 years term of office. 3 years term of office, maximum of 2 terms if re-elected. Let me put a little enlightenment here. I think what they are saying here is that the full term is 3 years. However, if you have already been in office for 1 year or 1 term, and you are doing re-election, you only have 2 more terms left, because those 2 terms will add to the first one to be 3. I hope that makes sense. Number 2, the candidate must be in possession of valid travel documents and meet all other travel requirements to enable him or her to travel without major restrictions. Then, number 3, the candidate should be available to travel worldwide if needed, with 7 days notice. And then number 4, the candidate will receive a periodic stipend of $0 to a maximum of $3,000 per month if needed, and by request based on the region. Number 5, the candidate must respect and respond to a potential motion to censor by the Restoration Council. Number 6, the candidate must leave office within 72 hours. Leave office within 72 hours in case of an impeachment and removal from office, and hand over all resources and all logistics and supplies. Number 7, he must hand over all Ambazonia resources and logistics and all supplies at the end of his tenure of office. Number 8, he must make reasonable efforts to call for collaboration and collaborate with frontline group leaders and genuine stakeholders in the struggle. Anyone who meets these requirements can declare his or her candidacy for President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Now, election date. The Election Commission shall announce the election date 2 months in advance. 2, the deadline for candidates to declare their candidacy. Once the date of the election has been announced, potential candidates have 2 weeks, 14 calendar days, they say, to submit all documents needed for their candidacy. Article 3, items that the candidates must submit. Each presidential candidate should submit copies of the following documents and any others that may not be included here as per Article 1 above. Number 1, the birth certificate, a copy of a curriculum vitae, 3 to 4 references, professional and community references, annual receipts of citizen independence dues, CID payments, annual receipts of CID payments, a passport size photograph, an official identification document, a statement of no more than 1,000 words stating the candidate's opinion on issues facing the struggle and the role his or her administration will play towards resolving these issues. The Election Commission has 14 calendar days from the last date of submission of documents to review, confirm, or reject the candidacy of any prospective candidates. The Election Commission shall vote all confirmed candidates. All candidates will be notified of their voting results. The Election Commission shall present the candidates to the public and explain voting modalities to the electorate. Article 4, eligibility to vote on election day. In other words, who is qualified to vote on election day? Number 1, the Restoration Council members, local government area chairs, and country and regional coordinators are eligible to vote either by hand up in a virtual setup or by ballot paper in-person vote. Article 5, how many votes are needed to win the presidency? It says, in order to become president, a candidate must win with a simple majority of more than 50% of the vote cast. In case there is no clear winner, the top 2 candidates will have a run-up election on the 4th day after the election. After Article 5.2 above, if there is a tie, the Restoration Council will vote to break the tie within 24 hours. If there is still a tie, the Restoration Council will continue to vote daily until there is a clear winner. Voters must be financially up to date regarding payments of drafts, ARV, monthly contributions. Again, that is for voters, not for the candidates. So voters must be financially up to date regarding payments of their draft, the ARV, the monthly contributions. Article 6, about the campaign, the conduct of the campaigns. The Election Commission will provide a platform for candidates to present their manifestos to the Ambazonian people and debate. Candidates have 4 weeks to complete their campaigns. No campaigns on the day of the election. All campaigns stop at midnight, Amber time, breaking the day of the election. The election will take place through Zoom from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Amber time in a virtual setup, or as may be determined by the Election Commission. Candidates should be respectful to other candidates and should not use foul language or discriminate based on gender, religion, area of origin, and age. Attacking other family members of candidates not involved in the campaign is prohibited. Article 7, election challenges. Pre-election challenges. Pre-election challenges or concerns should be registered with the Election Commission 2 weeks before the election date. All registered challenges or concerns should be resolved 1 week before the election date. Now, post-election challenges. Post-election challenges or concerns should be registered with the Election Commission within 24 hours after the election. All registered challenges or concerns should be resolved within 24 hours after they have been registered. If the challenges or the concerns cannot be resolved within 24 hours and will not overturn the results of the election, the results should be announced. If the challenges or concerns cannot be resolved within 24 hours, and they could overturn the results of the elections will not be announced until the issues are resolved. Article 8, reporting the results of the elections. Effective date. The chairman of the Election Commission, in consultation with the Restoration Council, will proclaim or announce the results of the election within 24 hours after concerns, if any, must have been resolved. The result will be published. A tabular breakdown for the president-elect and other contestants will be published. The report shall include A, the total number of votes cast, B, the total number of candidates, and C, the winning candidate and the votes each candidate received. In addition to receiving this information, all other candidates shall also be informed of the number of votes they received. Article 9, statement of compliance with guidelines. After the Election Commission announces the names of candidates, each candidate will receive a copy of these guidelines. Each candidate must agree to and sign a statement acknowledging that he or she has received the guidelines and pledged to adhere to them. Each candidate should report to the Election Commission immediately any deviations from the guidelines of which he or she becomes aware. Each candidate is permitted to have an observer present for the casting and counting of the ballots or votes. A candidate may serve as his or her own observer, or he or she may designate an alternate observer. Observers should not interfere with or disrupt the casting or counting of the ballots. Their role is limited to observing the election process, asking procedural questions, challenging defective ballots, and lodging protests with the election commissioners as appropriate. As far as compliance is concerned, upon receipt of a complaint, the Election Commission will provide the candidate with notice and an opportunity to respond to the allegations. And I think this is the last part of this. It says endorsement page. These modalities were drafted and prepared by the members of the Election Committee Task Force of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. The committee included members from the Restoration Council, executive branch, from the counties, the local government areas, countries and regions, and concerned Ambazonians. These modalities have been reviewed and endorsed by the Judicial Council of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Election Committee of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, and RC members. The Restoration Council signed. The Honorable Elvis commenter, ladies and gentlemen, for the Restoration Council. I'm going to take a 1-minute break. You know I've been reading for so long now. Take a 1-minute break and coming back to bring to you the chair of that committee and the spokesperson for the Restoration Council. I will ask some questions and then open the phone lines, and those of you out there with any questions, you can ask them too. Please stay put.
Would you like to make a 6-figure income? Well, you have come to the right place. At Venbati LLC, we can make your dream come true by training you to become a professional Scrum Master in just 6 short weeks. You heard me right, just 6 weeks. This may be the biggest life-changing decisions you will ever make. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. If you were walking down the street and opportunity walked past you, would you recognize it? Well, here is an opportunity you won't want to miss. At Venbati LLC, our world-class trainers would prepare you for one of the best career changes you will ever make. And then you can consider yourself lucky when you make that 6-figure income and laugh your way to the bank. If you are that person who can recognize an opportunity, call us at 240-701-7796. Check out our website, www.venbati.com. We have limited spaces. First come, first serve. Come one, come all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there. I am now being joined by the one and Honorable Anthony Epa, who chaired the committee, ladies and gentlemen, that drafted these modalities that I just brought to you. The Honorable Epa, pleasure to have you here once more, sir.
I want to greet the Ambazonian people, and I want to greet specifically our restoration forces who are there sleeping in the bushes under trees, doing a very wonderful job for us to maintain this fight. I want to also greet all those who are held in prisons and those in La Republique who are there as refugees, those in Nigeria, in Ghana, all over the world, South America, who are also suffering in refugee camps. I want to greet all the listeners, the international community that is listening to know exactly about the democracy which we are bringing back, which started in 1953 and which this IG is bringing back, so that we know, so that the world will know that Ambazonia means business for democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Epa. Great to see you again. We are also joined, ladies and gentlemen, by the communications director at the Restoration Council, talking about the Reverend Njini. Reverend Njini, it's a pleasure having you, sir.
Yeah, Secretary Chris, the pleasure is mine. We are glad to have you again, bouncing back, Uncle Man. And it's my pleasure to be on this platform again to share with the people of Ambazonia who are patriotic, their cause, and devoted for this revolution. We want to especially greet all the sympathizers of Ambazonians wherever they are around the world who have this burden for our people who are being suffering the genocide that we're suffering back there in Ambazonia, and especially the no-nonsense voices in the bushes who have kept up and raised the flag to sustain the struggle this far. Our hearts are burdened, very much burdened, and I think even those in the refugee camps around the world, in Nigeria, in the Equatorial Guinea, in Central Africa, everywhere they are, their hearts are bended on the cause of the struggle, and we are rallying behind our boys and our girls who are committed to this cause. And as we share our information, we think it is only in the light of information that we can pave the way to stand out as one man in unity of knowledge, of zeal, and purpose, and nothing will limit us until we arrive where. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. This is a very important subject that we discuss here today, and Ambazonians are dying to know how you are going to conduct this election. Now, I would like, starting from Dr. Epa, to first of all, if you can, please explain to Ambazonians why we are talking about an election. Only 4 months after we got a new president. If you can explain that, please. We don't just want to inform people here. I like us to take this an educational moment, because there is a lot of ignorance out there, as you know. So let's educate our people why at this moment, only 4 months after, we are talking about an election. Dr. Epa, please.
Thank you, Secretary Chris. Every Ambazonian and the international community knows that when former President Sako was inaugurated, it was specifically mentioned that his term of office was for 2 years. Unfortunately, he did not do anything to make sure that the Constitution, our working document, should be revised in order for election to take place. Neither did the Restoration Council push for the modalities to be written and force him to run for election. In fact, about 2 months before his term of office ended, he asked his Judicial Commission members, Barrister Fru Johnson and Barrister Mbesa, if I don't forget his name, to write to the Restoration Council that there will be no elections. I remember I saw that document, and the former Secretary General tried to bring it up for people to discuss about it, and we did not even look at it. Now, we all know that the former president refused for any election, and his part of his cabinet, who are working with him even up to now, pushed the idea that there was no election in the Constitution, and that the former president has to be there till we get to Boya, even if it was going to take us 30 years. I don't say that we're going to be there, we're going to fight this struggle for 30 years. It's going to end a few months or years from now. That was the notion. And he created a very serious problem, and he's still creating the problem up to now. So the Ambazonian people cried to the Restoration Council, realizing that that is their saving hope. Only the Restoration Council will save the struggle. It came to us in the Restoration Council. We embrace it because we know we are representing the Ambazonians. Honorable Committee appointed me as the chair of the committee and asked me to form that committee. I made sure that I brought in selected members from different parts of government, of this interim government, and those who are not even in this interim government, as you have just read. Even the judiciary was included in that committee. So now, after a few months, we have finished the modalities, and which I will say that it's a law. Although some people are saying that's not a law. That's okay, but the modalities are there. If you want to call it only modalities. The modalities are there. That the Ambazonian people were crying and blaming the Restoration Council for not doing anything for 2 years to force Sako to come and run for the elections. We have now done the work in a few months. We have already announced that is the chair of the election commission has already announced the date of the election to be on the 6th of September.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, it was announced on that APP day. That was last Thursday, and there was some surrogates were crying foul, questioning why these modalities or law was not given to the president for her to sign and all that type of thing. The Constitution gives the Restoration Council total power over the president. And the Judicial Council, as some people think, is not an independent organ in this interim government. In fact, if you go to chapter 7, that's Article 18, location. There shall be 4 strategic offices located within the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. The 4 offices are the Judicial Commission, that is JC, Ambazonia Security Intelligence Agency, AMSIA, the Environment and Natural Resources Bureau.
Dr. Epa, I get the point that you are trying to make there. However, to be fair, if you call it a law, the president has to sign the law, and that's when it becomes law. It makes sense when you call it modalities, because this is the work of a special committee. And again, it also makes sense because the president who is standing for election cannot be privy to making the laws for the elections, isn't it? Maybe I should. Okay, go on. Take the question, please.
Yes, what I'm trying to say here is that whether it is the law or the modalities have been done, and the elections have been, the date of the elections have been announced, and people call it modalities. It's modalities. Those who still maintain that it's a law because the Constitution does not give the president. There's nowhere in the resolution in the Constitution that says that the president must sign every law. No, it's not. And anybody who can bring that part of the Constitution, send it to me. I have the Constitution right here. There is no place that is stating that we don't have, Ambazonians do not have democracy, full democracy. We have a revolutionary democracy.
No, that is very true. I think sometimes I have to ask some questions just because I have to, for fairness reasons. Yeah. I think everybody out there should understand we are not in a regular government, in a regular situation, and certain things have to be improvised for us to move on. But let me also ask this. One of the statements, one of the clauses out there in the modalities states that the Election Commission shall announce the election date 2 months in advance. 2 months in advance. You just mentioned here that the date has been announced. I wasn't aware of that. But my question would be, we are already just 2 months left. Just 2 months left. We don't even know who the candidates are. We don't know of anybody filing in. When should candidates be filing in their candidacies? Is it now? Is it tomorrow? Is it, or are there some things they still need to do before they can file, or they can go tomorrow and file? And before you answer that question, who is the election commissioner? Because this is very important. The public know who is presiding over those elections.
We already have 7 election commissioners. The chair of that election commission is Dr. Reverend Father Jumba. For now, I can only tell you about his name as the chair, and I did not bring the list here with me, but he is the chair of that commission, and they are fairly representative. There are 4 from the northern zone and 3 from the southern zone. That's all I can tell you for now.
That is good. That is okay. Let me take that question to the Honorable Ingenie. The question is, the provisions, the modalities say that elections, the Election Commission shall announce the election date 2 months in advance. We only have about 2 months left for the entire 6 month transition that we're given. And the date of the election has already been announced. When are the candidates supposed to be filing? You were a member of this committee too. You are not just representing the Restoration Council. So right now, where are we? When are the candidates supposed to be filing? Are candidates okay to go out now and say, hey, I want to run for president and start campaigning? Tell us, what is the next step? What do people do?
Thank you very much, Secretary Chris. I think that's a pertinent question because a lot of Ambazonians are asking that question everywhere. Some of them ask me, I say, I don't yet know any of the candidates. We are waiting to know because we don't have to, you can't tell somebody you are a presidential candidate. People who feel like they can lead Ambazonia according to these modalities and what has been put forth have to show up. And it is clearly stated, if you read down just after the proceedings, makes us understand that upon this announcement, those who have aspired, and they are committed to want to be president in Ambazonia, have to within 14 days show forth with their will and the submission that they want to stand in for the elections.
So are we within the 14 days window right now?
Exactly. It's going on already. Upon the announcement that was passed already, it's going on. So we are waiting.
So if I have to run, if I have to fight for my candidacy, I should start putting the papers and get them to the committee in the next few days.
few days. You
Correct.
know, the days are the number. I mean, there's a countdown already, and you submit to the elections commission as soon as possible, and then they are the ones who are going to do the vetting. And there's a time limit too. When they do the vetting, they're going to declare who is eligible according to the standards. And then before we lock, the procedure is that after the vetting and declaration of the result of who is eligible, who has been qualified and disqualified, now there will be a launch of the campaigns to go on. So there's nothing going on already because we don't yet know any
What
candidate.
form will the campaigns take? Will there is a public TV debate compulsory, or is just a suggestion? Or what form does public campaigning
Let,
take?
let me answer the question.
You want before yeah, say before I go.
Yes, sir,
Reverend
go
Jenny,
on.
you want to answer the question?
Go on,
Yeah,
go
I
on,
could answer.
go on,
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Eba.
was saying, okay. Dr. Eba,
Reverend
go
Jenny,
ahead,
go
then I
ahead.
come.
No, Reverend
Yeah,
Jenny, go
I
ahead.
was saying, okay, thanks. According to those modalities, once the candidates have been vetted by the Elections Commission and campaigns have launched, they have to come up public on the media. We are doing a virtual election. That is the truth of our what we're doing now. They're going to show forth and maximize the televisions we have in Ambazonia, to declare their manifestos, and through those declaration of their manifestos and what they're ready to do for Amazonia in this struggle and after, then there is going to be possible debate beside panel talks like this. So we're going to maximize every opportunity. So the official platforms will be the TVs we have in place, and from there the information will be broadcast or diffused through the different forums of the social media that's available.
I think a potential candidate out here on the social media is asking for contact information for those who want to file. What is the contact to file? I hope people put out that information so they know who they want to file through.
They can.
Yes,
Yes, Dr.
Reverend
Eba.
Jenny, yeah, the chair of the election commission, their number will be given soon. The announcement was made on Thursday. Then you take 14 days from that date. That is when every candidate who wants to run for the president is expected to be preparing those documents and forward them by that date. Is 14 calendar days. That is including Sundays and Saturdays. So if you cannot file within that time, you'll be rejected. So you have to make sure that you file. And no one should be intimidated, Secretary Chris. You have read the modalities and everybody has heard it. If you know you qualify, you file. You stand for the election. That is democracy. We want to show the international community that we mean business in this election, so that they will not go there and begin to make noise when we come to when we get to Koya. They'll be infighting like Sudan. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to be like that. We don't want to give the international community a chance. Anything that they will say, oh, you see, they're fighting among themselves. We want to be very democratic. So no one should be intimidated. Even if you are a Marianta's government and you want to run, and you know that you qualify, run. That is the purpose of this election. And Secretary, please, let me add one more thing. You talked about the dates, or whether it was just about 2 months. Yes, it is just that we were a little bit late in making this announcement, because we voted on these modalities in the Restoration Council more than 3 times. I will tell you that. And they are A+, because even the Vice President and his cabinet read through these modalities and the audios that he sent to Honorable Committee and sent it to me. He rated it as being 95%, 95% for any document like this one, rated at that 95%. That's A plus. It's wonderful.
All right, wonderful. Now, if I may ask you, I know we have read the modalities for qualifications here, but I will ask, this is open to just members of the interim government, or can Bo Herbert put in his candidature? Can Akwanga, can Cho Ayaba put in his candidature?
Yes, if you qualify. The modalities have been well spelled out. We have written it in a very simple language that everybody can read. Even one who has not completed secondary school will be able to read it. We have put it in a very succinct manner. So far you qualify. You have to recognize the interim government. You have to be working on your eldership. There are a lot of things there which we actually spent time to deliberate on every point you find it. If you qualify, let it apply.
All right. The modalities also state that candidates coming in or applying to be, running for president should come in with their annual receipts of citizenship independence dues, payments, annual receipts. It doesn't say how many years, but it says annual receipts. Are you asking for 6-month receipts, 1 year receipts, 2 years receipts? What are you asking for? Let me start with Reverend Jenny.
Yeah, I think within the morality somewhere along the line, as you were reading through, it was very clear. And we really want to challenge Ambazonians to be a people of knowledge to the information that is disposed to them. It could be nothing so dangerous and frustrating in the generation where every information or piece of information is available and people decide to close their eyes or close their minds and go by blind. Ambazonians have a chance not only to emerge as one of the nations of this generation, but to do better than other nations, walk in the limelight of information. Now, I was saying that when you follow through progressively in the information, we discover that one of the criteria of those who are eligible to these elections is the fact somebody who will prove within 3 years, who prove within or beyond measure that he has been involved at least 3 years in this revolution. So we talk about annual receipts. We want to see some receipts that qualify the commitment and the sacrifice put in this struggle within 3 years. That's the line of information that is support and sustain that fact. Because as you read through the criteria, every one of them correlate and complement one another. Thank you.
Right. Dr. Epa, do you have anything to add there about the this annual receipts for CID? Do you have anything to add there?
No, I think Reverend Jenny has explained it very, very well. When we say annual, it means annual, meaning that every year is not 6 months. In other words, at least for about 3 years, we will know that you have been committed. Don't go and then manufacture one now that you are paying your CID and that you qualify. It's not going to work that way.
Or you show off that you have been there just for about 1.5 years or 2 years and you want to do a catch-up payment. No, because you want to benefit the opportunity. That disqualifies you.
All right, let's get to another question coming from these modalities. The Election Commission has 14 calendar days from the last date of submission of documents to review, confirm, or reject the candidacy of any prospective candidate. Now, after they review, assuming they reject anybody's candidacy, is there room for appeal?
Yeah, so that
Well,
there's room for appeal. When
yeah,
you read down before running up the paper, there was what they call the post-election challenges.
No.
There's
Before
provision
the
here.
election, you know there is voting before the election. So the candidates are voted before the election. So if assuming that I put in my candidacy and you turn it down and say Chris is not qualified, do I have the chance to appeal?
Yeah, I was
yes, you
saying
appeal to the
beside
commission.
election, yeah,
All
beside
right.
post-election challenges, you also have pre-election challenges, and that falls now within pre-election challenges. You have to appeal to the commission for your case to be
Okay. All
reviewed.
right. Let's take this other question again coming from the modalities. It says the ROC members, LGA chairs, and country and regional coordinators are the only eligible class to vote, either by hand or virtual voter. My question is, you know that there are counties, there are LGAs, there are counties that have no LGAs. You know, you are aware of that, correct?
Yes.
I give you, for example, Indian. I don't know whether Manuel falls within them, but about 2, 3, or 4 counties really don't have constituted LGAs. They only have, they come together as an umbrella. I think Bui is also one of them, if I'm not mistaken. So, if only the LGAs, the counties, are voting, what do you do in this case? They have one vote, or what if the LGAs are not constituted? This is very, very critical so that Ambazonians understand. What do you do in this case where no LGAs exist, only one county?
Reverend Jenny, want me to answer the question?
Yeah, go ahead. I would support.
Okay. Secretary Chris, we envision that problem. We already know the counties, no, the LGAs that are already constituted right now. We already know.
All right, therefore, we are talking about constituted LGAs.
Constituted LGAs, and we cannot accept any LGAs from now. No more constitution of LGAs.
From now we mean from the day you announced it. That was last Thursday.
Last Thursday. Yes.
Do you know the constituted LGAs as of the last APP last day. Thursday?
Correct. We know.
All right, Reverend Junior, want to add something?
I think the answer is clear.
All right. Great. Again, that is very, very critical, because that is what could ruin this election when people come in with the argument that, hey, I have my county with 3. Let me also ask it, put the question this way. Libya, for example, is having an election to elect a county chair. I think that will be either this weekend or I think on Wednesday. So I guess he is not qualified to vote.
No, the county chairs are not voting. It's only the local chairs.
Oh, the county chairs are not, but you said counties.
No, countries.
The ROC members, LGA chairs in country and region. Oh, I get it. Perfect. That makes a lot of sense.
The countries. Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Only the countries and regional coordinators.
Correct.
We have them now. We have the numbers of the countries.
The same. Go on, please.
Presently, we have the numbers of the countries and regional coordinators.
How many are there?
I'm sorry, the phone call was coming in. So we have the number. I don't have it here now with me. We have the number. The regions cannot go now and form any other one now and say that, oh, we are forming one right now. We also have the LGAs which are constituted.
So
And
you also
then
have the
we,
numbers of AGAs already constituted.
which are already constituted.
Okay.
Okay. We cannot just find people come up and say, oh, an LGA is here, maybe with 2 people, 3 people, this is the chair. That's not going to work.
All right. Good. Good. It's good to hear that. Because I'm concerned that could be a big source of trouble for the conduct of the election. But the fact that you already know as of the date you announced, you made the announcement, how many countries or regions are there, how many LGAs are there, that makes it really good. I hope that also applies with the Restoration Council, that nobody is being, or even if somebody is added in the Restoration Council, that person doesn't count, is disqualified, at least for this moment.
Correct. But I don't see where somebody will not be there unless the, if the LGA was already well constituted, and the person and the LGA did not send somebody to the Restoration Council, that would be understandable. But if an LGA was not constituted, and then you just want to constitute anything right now so that you get someone to come to the Restoration Council, it will not work.
All right. Last question, and I think.
And let me just say one thing: the only problem that we see in Libya is that during the last APP, there were 2 LGAs in Fontaine. So
that problem has been solved. The Fontaine, the old executive tendered a resignation. It is official. It is solved, and there is no problem there. LBLM has resolved all its problems, from the fighters to the diaspora.
Okay, that's good.
All right. Honorable Genie, look at this other aspect of the modality. It says voters must be financially up to date regarding payments of drafts, AR fee, monthly contributions, among others. What if they are not? What if the some of these LGA representatives and RC representatives have not paid? Their votes are cancelled?
I think that is a pertinent question, and the good answer there is that it could be challenging, but then it is impossible to find an LGA that is fully constituted and all the EXCO or the executive members are not paying their dues. So within that constituted LGA, those who are paying their dues or who meet up the challenge are going to vote, and others are going to watch, because the election is going to go through those EXCO. They are going to vote as an LGA.
You know that we had 2 drafts in which people pledged thousands. And people pledged thousands. A draft was supposed to be $1,000, and these LGAs were the ones rallying their people to put the thousands together. And you know that at the end of the day, most of this money never came in. So we are dealing with the same people. Some paid part of it, some just didn't pay. Would part of it qualify that person to vote?
Yeah, they say, it will be proven, because we all understand that we are in the revolution and there were crises. We had major heartbreaking and traumatizing crises that frustrated and paralyzed the hands of many people who were willing to carry through successfully their draft and their payment. But then, when we understand the past, this is what happened and hindered or limited those who would not fulfill their full commitment. What about the present? We're going to analyze that, And I'd like to also say here that coming up to talk about these things, we really appreciate what ABS has done. I believe that other televisions in Amba will also do so. And coming up to answer some of these questions, already speaking to the people of Ambazonians who are, and the candidates, we don't yet know any, and we are eager to want to know who is ready for. Now, we want to say we are thinking of the possibility of having a town hall conference where is being coordinated by the RC, but to facilitate the work of this elections body that is put in place, so that they will answer with clarity and pave the way forward for Ambazonians, so that things can be clearly done and there's no limitation for anybody anywhere. So this is just one of them. And certainly the commission will be soliciting opportunities in different television to come up and to still speak, to educate, because we really want to, when we listen to Ambassador speak, we discover that a lot of people are zealous without information. And the things we have been running from in La Republic, running from the failed IG, we need to avoid and secure the future only through sound knowledge. So we encourage them to be able to. The Constitution doesn't only concern those who are in the Restoration Council. It is open to everybody. Let them read the interim Constitution, read the terms of that Constitution, and follow through with modalities and ask questions or speak from the objectivity of the realities in place. We talk about the law here, where sometimes we're arguing, hitting our heads here. It is the law, it's not a law. What's a law? A guiding principle that helps people, that guides people on the causeway of what should be done and how it should be done rightfully. Now, that's democracy. It is the power of the people, by the people, for the people. And this elections modality is a way, it's an opportunity to give the Ambazonian people that exercise in democracy, to exercise their sovereign right of voting their people. Like Dr. Epa has said from the beginning, some people have accused, they say, oh, the ROC went and handpicked Sako from the beginning. It's true. The interim constitution gives the power to the ROC to be able to follow up with the circumstances that surround the people and the crisis of the people, and to take reasonable steps to help the people and rescue this nation. And it was on that ground. And this time around, we are grateful that we have an interim government in place, moving on, so that there's not stagnancy. But we are giving the chance for the people to be able to stand out this time around, to affirm or to pick out their leader by their own choice, where sometimes they will be. We, at the level of the Restoration Council, we are committed. And we have proven to that we will follow the interim constitution to the very end. We started it till now, and we are committed to follow it through to the end. There is nothing turning around or fooling around. Whoever may be a godfather to whoever, or a godmother to whoever, we elect the Ambazonians to know.
As I'm hearing.
Or kingmakers, or whatever they call. We elect Ambazonians to know we have an interim constitution.
I know the kingmakers had a meeting over the week, and some people are so jittery, they can't stand it. If you may ask, is there anything wrong with anybody prospecting to run, gathers people and discuss about his campaign?
Let it be, that is people ways of campaigning, but then we elect Ambazonians to know that whether they have the different ways of campaigning, let them go ahead and do that. But we are going to follow through with the modalities in the light of the interim constitution, and make sure that the truth and justice of democracy prevails in Ambazonia now and into the future.
Dr. Epa, please.
Yeah, Honorable Jenny has spoken very well. I think the modalities is clearly specified. The campaign starts after the candidates must have submitted their candidacy, the documents, and they have been vetted and found that by the commission, the election commission, that they will stand for that election. That's when the campaign starts. But people can be doing some campaign behind, if they want just to assess the waters, that is fine, but it's not official until their documents are submitted and they have been vetted by the commission, and they found that their candidacy it has met the requirement and any other thing that the commission wants. That is when officially the campaign starts. But I want to say again, no one should be intimidated. The modalities cannot be changed by one person. No one can influence those modalities. Even if I said I was going to run right now, I have to follow what is being written there. The Election Commission cannot give an exception because I was the chair of that committee. No. If Reverend Gini wants to run as the president right now, the modalities are not just going to favor him. because he has to meet the requirements. That is how it is. And no one should intimidate anybody. I want to make that very clear. No one should intimidate anybody.
Can Dr. Sako put in his candidature this time? At least you don't have, you still don't
Well,
have it written in the Constitution, but you have the modalities.
Well, he cannot because he has been impeached and removed, meaning that he has no position in Ambazonia. Even on ground zero, he cannot get a position.
Oh, that is serious.
Because he has been impeached and removed, and he has formed his own government, and he has not apologized. There are a lot of things that we are going to that need to be addressed before we get to Ambazonia, to Goya. Many people need to come out and actually plead to the Ambazonian people before the TV like this one, and say that they are very sorry.
All right. I am going to open the phone lines to Ambazonians out there with questions. If you have questions, the line is open for you to call in and ask a question either from me or the panel. Again, the phone line is open. Go ahead and make your call. Make sure that your question is brief. Make sure your question is brief. This phone was shut down. Let me turn it on. Right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the phone line is open, and you can go ahead and make your phone call if you have any question to me or to the panel. Okay? So you all have heard that, ladies and gentlemen. That is what lies ahead. I hope that those modalities have been well explained to the comprehension of everybody, so that nobody go there and talk ignorantly of what the process is all about, because in a few days I have seen lots of ignorance exhibited in fora out there. We must teach La République du Cameroon that we know what we are doing through this process, and we must also send a strong message to Sako and the little cronies out there who thought that elections were meant to vilify them. Elections are not meant to vilify anybody. Elections are not meant to vilify anybody. Elections are meant to assess the viability of every candidate. That's why elections are there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the phone line is open. I don't know whether this thing is fully loaded yet. It was shut down, but you can go ahead. You can go ahead. I think the phone is fully loaded now. You can go ahead and call and make your contribution. Go ahead and call right now and make your contribution. It's a great day in Ambazonia. I hope that all confusion and all questions are now laid down, and you can identify, and the candidates start putting out their names and their program, their agenda, and you start identifying the candidate to align with. It is important that you know nobody automatically qualifies. Everybody, including the incumbent leader, has to put in her candidature to be voted, to be qualified, and then to stand election. Now, do not forget, the current leadership was never voted. It was nominated. If I'm wrong, Dr. Epa Revenjini, you correct me there. The current leadership was never voted. it was nominated. They nominated Tita chicken out within a day, and it was turned over to, they nominated Tita and Iya Marienta. Tita chicken out, and Iya Marienta, being the vice, automatically took it over. That was how we got here. Let me get to the first caller from Ground Zero. Hello.
Secretary Chris. Oh.
Hello.
Secretary Chris.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm calling from Western County.
Okay, and what is in your mind, sir?
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm happy that the Restoration Council finally is waking up from sleep. I think that the behavior of Sako has actually pushed them to work, and I believe so. They took the Sako for a pastor, thinking that he is there to do the right thing. But he has proven them wrong, that until you test somebody, you will not understand who that person is.
Yes.
Yes, so I want to salute them. It is a great job they have done. And the question you have also given. Now, let me ask this. What if we have a candidate from Ground Zero? What would you do? Can somebody from Ground Zero stand that election?
That's a good question. Really good question. Let's allow them to answer. Somebody put on a candidature from Ground Zero, and he passes all the other modalities. Can he or she stand the election?
Yes, the answer is a big yes. The person will be able to stand, and we want to say we're not doing this thing behind the back doors of the international norms and democracy and community. If the person in Ground Zero has the grace or the soundness and the courage to stand up and meet all the criteria, the Elections Commission will vet and endorse his or her candidature, and he moves on. I'd like to really appreciate the caller too for what he said, and to affirm to the fact that we are not just waking up from sleep. We woke up from sleep long time when we discover the reality of what was going wrong. We are grateful that we are learning through the process. We learned so much through the con man, and we have remained awake all through till now, and we are determined. We don't want to close the eyes, and we want to make sure we shine the eyes through to the end and stand up to the challenge of what Ambazonians are looking up to this legislation to do to help the station and to rescue and safeguard the future.
Dr. Epa, you have anything to add there?
No, I think Reverend Ginny has spoken very well. I want to thank that caller for that question. If anybody from Ground Zero meets the criteria and knows that the security for him is okay, he can run. He can present his candidature, and if he's vetted by the commission and they found that his candidature is good, he runs. The election is.
And let me add to him again. Mandela said something that is just passing to my mind. Say, a true revolutionist or a true fighter for the cause of change has those three places that he could be in one. One of them is either you're in prison, you're on exile, or you're in the grave. So he should be conscious about this fact. If he's the one who wants to send his candidature and he knows about this truth and whatever can be the result of it, let him come up without any delay.
All right. The phones appear not to be ringing today. I don't know whether Ground Zero has power or electricity. The lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. I have just about 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes to go. Go ahead and call. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to get your take on these issues. I hope that everybody is happy, satisfied out there. I saw somebody asking, he is from Bunda, can you vote? Of course. Of course, no, you cannot vote. You cannot vote. You cannot vote, sir. All right, again, the phone lines are open. Go ahead, call. Go ahead, call and ask any question that you may have. Go ahead and call and ask any question you may have. All right. In the absence of any question or any call, ladies and gentlemen, I just like to remind all of you that again, ABS is on Roku. You can get ABS on Roku 24/7. After this broadcast, if you have Roku, you did still be able to watch ABS live 24/7. All right. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello. Good evening, sir. This is a German number calling from Germany.
Yeah, calling from Germany. Just want to greet you and the panelists, and I want to show concern and appreciation for the work that the Student Council have been doing. I want to ask a question, but before then, I don't know. I don't know if the Restoration Council actually considered the atmosphere at the moment, the struggle and what is happening on ground, and the opinion of the people before bringing up an issue now regarding elections. I know it's something that was prescribed in the Constitution or before the installation of Madame Iya Marianta, but I don't know if they really considered how the people might react to this. The principles they are brought forth, like the democratic principles, I think, to my own opinion, those are very best principles that will work on the ground. I don't know if they took some consideration on that, because
when you say when you talk about consideration, are you talking about consideration for some candidacy from ground zero, or what are you referring to?
That consideration, because I heard from the principles of the elections, the democratic principles they have read, but how will it permit a common man on the ground to participate in this election? Is it going to be universal suffrage for the people, because you talk of a Zoom call? Is everybody on ground going to be permitted to vote, or who are those who are going to actually demonstrate this democracy?
Oh, okay, all right. I think I get your question. You probably came in, probably joined the show late. After I've read it, basically says it will be a universal suffrage vote. However, only through the LGAs, who are the representatives of the LGA, of the people, then the countries and regional coordinators and members of the Restoration Council. I think, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense, because I bet you if you open it if you open it to everybody, it becomes chaos, and at the end of the day, people begin to contest the whole thing. It will not look good. And we should not forget, I think this election, or any election in that matter for the interim government, is essentially about the diaspora. It is who will coordinate the diaspora, the finances, the fundraising. If we take it to ground zero, we don't have a country there yet. So I think it is important we note this thing stays in the diaspora. The moment will come when ground zero will rule and reign. In that time, we will decide. Thank you for the call, sir.
Okay, Sir Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello, Ma Franca. You've been trying to call forever until you succeeded today, I guess.
Secretary Chris, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Greetings to the panel.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on air, sir.
Thank you. Good to hear your voice. What is in your mind?
Yes, sir. I have a question for the panel, for the honorable men.
All right, go
when
on.
are we going? We want to know when the election commissioner will appear on public TV, introduce himself and his team. We don't know them. We don't know what they stand for. We don't know where they've been. We don't know where they're coming from. And we have a right to see their faces.
That's a credible point. That's a very legitimate point. Myself, I look forward. I think I can say I know Reverend Father Jumban a little bit, but I've never met him. I think I've spoken with him just about once, and I had actually been trying to get him here on ABC. I know he's a good man. He is not an activist out there. I truly believe that he should do a good job. But I'll let the panel answer. When are they coming on TV to tell Ambazonians exactly how they're going to conduct this election?
Yes.
I think the answer is very soon. I've mentioned already that we are thinking about the whole conference where we're going to bring the team.
They hear you. They are answering you, but you cannot hear them because your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's all right.
Go,
Yeah,
Reverend
I said we are working very hard to see that they come on air as soon as possible. We cannot give the date here now because we are yet to agree on that. And we have already measures trying to put together for that town hall conference to come. And thereby, the daily media will also be there to cover the event. And so they see the people who are heading these commissioners, leading this team of the Elections Commission. And just to add to the former caller before Manafranca, who mentioned, we attached to the fact that, like we have said, the constituted LGAs are the people who are going to vote, but not only the constituted, or all the constituted, but those who are represented in the ROC. That is one point we like people to carry home. And like we said, and we're going to bring out this while presenting the panel, a lot of information too to clarify and pave the way. Thank you.
All right. Franca, you may have to go re-listen to the recording to get your answer, but summarily he has said they are going to bring up that panel, that commission on TV as soon as they agree on a date. They definitely are going to do so. You got any other question?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the call, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I think we are going to call it a night here. Gentlemen, if you have any other thing else to add before we go, Dr. Epa, you go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Ambazonians. Thank you, Secretary Chris, for giving us this opportunity to appear on this platform. Ambazonians, you have heard about the modalities. You have actually pushed us for us to develop these modalities. We thank you so much because it is you whom I would say that we should thank you because you pushed your representatives to do the job for you, and it has been done. And I am sure all of you are very happy with this. And from now we shall continue. The elections now are put before you, and we hope that the international community will not know that we are very, very serious. The question of the past regime, where they refused to come for elections, has passed, and now elections has come back. Even though they were elected by a few members in the Restoration Council at that time, now they were afraid of even elections. So this election, we have expanded the number of people who are going to vote. We would have just said that the Restoration Council should be the one to vote, but we wanted to expand it, that the LGAs, chairs, or LGA representatives, the region and the country coordinators, plus the Restoration Council members. That is wonderful. More members are going to vote for this election than ever before in this struggle. Not a few number of people who voted the former president twice, and then when it came to the time for him to turn over, he said, "Oh, election is not in the constitution," but he was elected. Thank you very much, Ambazonians. May God bless you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Epa. And you are very correct. I think this is the very first election in which the electorate has, expanded. When Sisiko was picked by a little conclave of maybe a dozen of people. And then when he left, Sako was essentially voted where? Countries and regions. They picked the candidates, and then the only other voters was cabinet. And then when Sako's term expired, they called for election. The ROC called for election, and there was nobody to run. The ROC asked that if cabinet wants, they can all endorse him, and they reinstate him. Cabinet did that. There was no election. Cabinet endorsed Sako, and he went in for the second term. It was at the end of the second term that he tried to become an emperor. He thought we were heading him to all the way to Boya. Anyways, Reverend Ginny, please give us your closing remarks in a minute if you can, please.
Thank you very much, Secretary Chris. I want to thank all who have been able to follow through this show patiently till now. And we want to wish and I plead on you, the information you have gotten, make sure you share it out to those who, where you know, are not connected. Let's make sure our people are well informed and up to the challenge of the time. Let's not run with zeal without knowledge. Now, we have acclaimed, we have reiterated through this struggle for the last 6 years counting, that this is a God-ordained revolution. And it has proven true, far beyond human zeal and confession, that God is truly in charge. And I like to say that while we are waiting for as many candidates as ready, I really look with a lot of eagerness to see who is wanting to lead forward, to stand the challenge for this election, to give a trust for Ambazonians. Now, while we are looking forward to that, we like to caution people, whether you are an activist or you are coming in for these elections or standing in as a president, let's know that we can fool around with men, but we cannot fool around with God. You know, it's more than just playing dirty politics. We are committed to do clean and transparent elections in Amazonia, first of its kind, which is paving the way forward for our country to be. And we believe so now. And God is jealous about the cause. Let some people not casualize themselves, or don't be too zealous to yourself that at the end of the day you are just a casualty and you will see people get into Buya, but you don't have the chance to be there. Let us have that as a word of caution. When I read through the judges in the Bible, and I see how different people were arrested over different times, some for months, some for years, some very short, some for very long time, to lead the people, I see the sovereignty of God in the way that when man understands, he don't fool around with God. Think about the kings of Israel. Many of them that came up, some ruled up to 52 years, but some for 1 day, some for 3 days, some for 3 years, some for 7 days. Just think about that. Now, God gives everybody an opportunity, and he glorifies himself in his sovereignty. But men need to know who he is, especially when it comes to this kind of moment. We are believing God and he's going to see us through. There is no demon, there is no force that will stop God for his purpose in Ambazonia. But if some people are not careful, they can become casualties on the way. So please, let us watch our way. We're waiting. The Elections Commission is waiting for the files of as many as can send in. God bless us. May God shorten the struggle and prosper Ambazonia.
Thank you, Reverend Ginny. Thank you, Dr. Epa, for joining me today and bringing this education to our people so they have no doubt about what is being done and why it is being done. We hope that everybody out there got it, and please, we expect you to go out and be teachers. Let people not ask childish, ignorant questions and unnecessary contentions about this. I really want to believe that this has done the closing for some of the argument that I heard out there, and which is the reason why I decided to do this today. I look forward to coming back. I believe one of these days. I am not very sure yet, but please, I definitely will be back as usual. And let's all be custodian of this struggle and keep it going. No faltering, no turning back. I want to give kudos to our fighters all out there in the BLM for coming together into one red dragons. Also like to appreciate all of you out there from the BLM County. This is the time to form those boys and kick La République du Cameroon completely out of the BLM. They need your financial support, and this couldn't be a better moment for that to be done. Just like to remind you again, please, if you are in the diaspora, you haven't downloaded ABS on your Roku, please do so, so that you can begin to watch ABS 24/7 in the diaspora on your television set. Thank you very much for tuning in. I look forward to, again, being back, God permitting. I really hope I will be back soon. I'm just hoping that. Again, thank you for tuning in. God bless you all and good night.
Would you like to make a six-figure income? Well, you have come to the right place. At Venbati LLC, we can make your dream come true by training you to become a professional Scrum Master in just 6 short weeks. You heard me right, just 6 weeks. This may be the biggest life-changing decisions you will ever make. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. If you were walking down the street and opportunity walked past you, would you recognize it? Well, here is an opportunity you won't want to miss. At Venbati LLC, our world-class trainers would prepare you for one of the best career changes you will ever make. And then you can consider yourself lucky when you make that 6-figure income and laugh your way to the bank. If you are that person who can recognize an opportunity, call us at 240-701-7796. Check out our website, www.venbati.com. We have limited spaces. First come, first serve. Come one, come all.